What I'd like to do at this point is to give a little background on where we are, why we're here, why the League is talking about this today. The last slide that we had up there, and we probably could bring it back up, basically the preserved lands. And this is a map that's available from the Bay Area Open Space Council. I didn't have a copy to put in your packet, but it is available on their website. I also wanted to mention the two other sets of maps. In the back of the room is the original Bay Area Regional Plan map for the open lands that were hoped to be saved in 1970 within the Bay Area, the dark green. You can look at this during the lunch hour. And then the map on the right is the area, the land use as it was in 1965. So that at the back of the room is what things were like then. And up here in front here is the most recently adopted Plan Bay Area. You know, we asked the leagues to support the adoption of Plan Bay Area that was being developed by the Metropolitan Transportation Commission and Association of Bay Area Governments. That plan was adopted last summer. And these maps show the priority development areas on the left, which is where we would like to see development focused. And then on the right is priority conservation areas. So the concept still carries forward. In any event, what I wanted to bring to you, though, was my own personal perspective. When I joined the League in 1970 as a mere youth, the reason I joined was I went to a meeting of a League of Women Voters where two women in my county, San Mateo County, came with this big map. And it was the proposed open space element to the general plan in San Mateo County. In 1970, that was the first time that the state of California required that there be a conservation and open space element to your general plan. So in San Mateo County, they went ahead and adopted the open space element. That was immediately followed by a reduction in zoning on the coast side. Most of our coast side was zoned in 5,000 square foot lots. All over the coast side, they were going to have 100,000 people growth on the San Mateo coast. And based on the conservation open space element, the county proceeded to change the zoning. At exactly that same time, ABAG, the Association of Bay Area Governments, adopted its first regional plan for the Bay Area. It was Regional Plan 1970 to 1990. Well, here we are well beyond that. But it was the first vision for making rational sense of development in the Bay Area and for preserving open space. Then, of course, during this time was the formation of the Bay Conservation Development Commission, the Coastal Commission, and for example, local coastal programs that came later from the Coastal Act. In my county, for example, we also had things where the Local Agency Formation Commission used its power to leave the San Bruno Mountain undeveloped. It refused to allow the top of the mountain to be in any one city jurisdiction for the purpose of saving it. And in fact, years later, it has become a state park, and it's managed by the County of San Mateo, but it's owned by the state. So there are many tools that were available. Also were the formation of regional park and open space districts. East Bay Regional Park District was the granddaddy of them all. It was founded many, many years ago, but in the 1970s, the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District was formed in Santa Clara County, and then later annexed further properties into San Mateo County. Then there was the formation of the Peninsula Open Space Trust. This is a group of private individuals in a nonprofit organization that have used their capability to facilitate the ultimate purchase of many of our open space lands, particularly in San Mateo County. Their acquisitions and projects are legendary, and since that time, there have been additional open space trusts formed throughout the Bay Area. And we'll hear more about how they partner in many of the activities. In my personal case, I was the town clerk of Portola Valley in 1979 when Peninsula Open Space Trust made its first acquisition, and that was Windy Hill. I don't know if any of you realize in Portola Valley there's this bare mountain at the very back that you can see all around the Bay Area, actually. And Windy Hill was the first project that Peninsula Open Space participated in, and what they were able to do was to receive a donation from a large property owner in exchange for him getting quite a tax write-off, that they could then save it for a time in order to ultimately turn it over to the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District. So there are several processes in the path of preserving open space. Finally, then, later, I wanted to mention that a large project in our county was Rancho Corral de Tierra, which is on the coast side, nearly 4,000 acres. And this project involved Peninsula Open Space Trust, the Coastal Conservancy, the California Wildlife Conservation Board, and federal legislation to ultimately protect this land. It is now part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Park. So what we will hear is that none of these preservation activities is usually by one agency. It is a team effort. Finally, I did want to mention, even in the last year, we are seeing major open space lands that have been preserved, including the Roddy Ranch in the East Bay, and I'm sure Beverly will tell us something about that. And then Skaggs Island, which is in the North Bay, again, a very large piece of property that has been preserved. And so the work goes on.